Welcome back. Episode 4 of the XOT-1 build.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so today we have the last bit of components to put on the vehicle to actually get it driving, minus some body panels. So there isn't much to go by here, just the stuff we have on the table. Start over here. We got the seat. Now, when it comes to seats, there's not a whole lot of options out there if you're trying to stay on the affordable end. A lot of people will use the NRG. I think it's a complete fiberglass tub seat. And they used to be really cheap back in the day. Used to be around like $200. And since for a few years now, they've gone up to almost $300. So like no one really touches them. But these have always been a classic choice. They've been around for a long time in the Volkswagen sand car, dune buggy world. And these are just these complete molded plastic seats. I think right now you can get them for about $65. You can get seat covers to go on them, but they are just a simple molded seat that allows you to do a 4-point or 5-point harness seat. They fit you good, but they're not the most comfiest thing in the world, but they're basic.
I feel like my Sandrail had those in it when I first got one.
Yeah, you see them everywhere.
Yeah.
So then our steering wheel was a good old Amazon special. These are sold as like budget. You got your Honda Civic and you want to put a cool bedazzled steering wheel in it. There's nothing special on it. It does have a QD, quick detach. It's hard to do that one's all together. Oh well. It does have the quick detach to take your steering wheel off. Kind of helps out with smaller vehicles like what we build, or it's you want to actually have a full knee space to get your legs into the tunnel, so that helps out having a detachable steering wheel.
You know, my favorite part about the steering wheel actually is when they molded the rubber. It's got fake stitching.
Yeah, so it looks legit. Yeah.
That's like, oh, so cheap.
So, and then that's going to go to your shifting linkage. I'm sorry, your steering linkage, which starts off with your U-joint shaft that is splined to go to the 14-inch dune buggy rack and pinion. And then from there, it's pretty much complete. So those bearings are on there to live forever until they go out. And then I actually have to cut, pull off, replace the bearings, and weld it back on there. I could have made it so it was keyed or removable in some sort of way, but I figured for the sake of simplicity and cost and just getting it out in the backyard racing, I just weld it together. So I mean, it does sit in 2 bearings, so I think it will rotate pretty smoothly. You'll see when we get the pedals onto the car, the throttle and the brake linkage was some pretty funky stuff to get it all working on the car.
Yeah.
From the very beginning, I wanted to just buy some Willwood pedal clusters, either the above your foot.
They're so big.
Yeah, and that's the point. Is I wanted to get either a reverse swing or a floor mounted, and I just didn't have the space in this car, so I had to really come up with some sort of a design that was as conserving the space as much as possible and still allow. I mean, I wear a size 11, and it was still the first design I had for pedals was still my feet were just too big. It was being problematic.
All right, I'm going to say something about the brakes. We came across this master cylinder. Was it Amazon where you got it?
Yeah, and it's supposed to be a...
I've seen it on Temu and stuff like that. It came with the sensor for like a brake light if you want to do that. But really what's really cool about it is it's actually 2 cylinders inside of the entire housing. And it's got 3 outputs. So, I mean, I wouldn't run 4-point brakes on it, but doing an inboard on the back and the 2 front on... Like this thing just, for the size of it, simplicity. I really feel the simplicity of this.
I
is
think
nice.
that brake master cylinder was meant to replace like an aftermarket replacement for like a ATV or one of those 2-seated Chinese go-karts. So most of these brake components are either go-kart related or replacement parts for some sort of Japanese-made ATV or UTV.
China.
Yeah, it's Chinesium.
China.
I love it. But when I bought the brake lines for all of these the master cylinders and the calipers, when you go out and buy pre-made brake hoses for these Chinese go-karts, they all come in random different lengths. And I think some on here are a 60 millimeter, 90 millimeter, I think there's also a 170 millimeter, which was the only length of hose that was actually turned out to be the perfect length for this car. So when we go to put this thing together, I'm actually going to just take some of those lines that were too short. I had to basically connect them with a double banjo bolt. I'm just going to redo them because that's a pain in the butt. It makes bleeding a lot difficult. So we're actually going to just do it the right way, which we should have done in the very beginning, and actually go with PTFE hoses with the stainless steel braided sheathing.
PTFE?
And they will go to actual stainless banjo fittings with the 45 degree. And those, I've used those components on larger buggies, and they just make life a lot easier because you can make whatever length you want and have it all tucked nice into the car and make it all low profile. So the wheels and tires, so because we had Mazda Miata front and rear hubs.
Oh, these are Douglas's.
Yeah, the wheels are Douglas's. The lug pattern is a 4x100 millimeter. So that kind of puts us in golf carts, small cars, some ATVs use 4x100, not a whole lot of them, but it's still a pretty widely popular lug pattern on the wheels. So all four wheels are a Douglas brushed aluminum wheel. They're all 10-inch diameter. Your fronts are 7 wide, your rears are 10-inch wide, and then all four wheels have got the Sun F tires on them. And I would call it a turf tire, wouldn't you? I wouldn't call
an
it
aggressive turf tire, but they do have a great roundness. I don't know what you call it, shape.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't call them an off-road tire, but I think they'll do good for what we're going to be driving this thing around is just backyards, grass, some loose dirt, maybe some gravel.
You know, you got to drive that thing, and I haven't yet. And I'm really excited because the shape of the tires, I just feel like this thing can really slide. You can get it to slide and drift pretty good.
It does. Luckily, we got enough power here and the responsiveness of our clutch. When actually when I give this thing throttle, it will spin tires in gravel before it wants to hook and sling you. So for 20-something horsepower, it's quite a bit of fun compared to some of the 200 horsepower things we've driven. This is it feels like one quarter or 1/3 of the fun, which is about where you want it when you start throwing your kids in there and stuff.
Yep.
So that's about it. We're going to get the stuff thrown into the car, and it's going to be really tempting to want to drive the thing, but we got to finish. We got some crappy weather outside with all the ice and snow. We got to do body panels, and then we'll get this thing out here and start ripping it around. So let's get these parts thrown on the car.
Sooner than later.
Okay, so we got all of our parts on that we just talked about. So we got everything to go and to stop and to steer. So the last bit is to wrap it in some body panels to get this thing fully fleshed out and get the driver protected from any kind of debris or anything. Those panels still have to be primed, well, sanded, primed, and painted. So that'll probably be a week before I can get that out and we can finally get this paint booth tore down. Throw the body panels on the next episode and close this thing out, and we'll be ready to get this thing outside and ripping around like it's meant to be. So,
well, I'm excited
for
the next project.
Yeah. We've got plenty of other projects planned out, and we're just gotta get to it.
Yep.
So
this one lost my attention a while ago, so I'm ready for the next one.
Yeah. So see you in the next final episode of the Build series.
Bye, everybody.